Welcome to this week's Trade Talk Tuesday. I almost forgot what the name of these live streams are. Anyway, this is the weekly live stream where we are going to go through the forex market and the crypto market with an educational twist. I will do some crypto analysis and forex analysis, and I will also share some educational tips for you guys to help you in your trading journey. And to all my returning viewers and returning subscribers, you guys are absolutely awesome. I do appreciate every single one of you. And if you are new to this channel, my name is Jonatan Randin. I'm a professional crypto and forex trader. Most of you probably know me as Libs42. I am the co-founder also of the trading community, the RLZ Trading Room, where we help you simplify your path to greatness. So if you want to see some completely forgot what I was about to say. I'm very tired today, as you might have noticed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up the chart here. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get right to the analysis. That's a beautiful intro right there. All right, let's just jump into the screen here. So we're going to start off by looking at, actually, we're going to go through a couple of alerts here because I've done in the morning market update here. As you can see, I do this on a daily basis inside the market update channel, where I post my thoughts on the market in the morning. In the beginning of the week, I do kind of like more of a detailed, more structured way of approaching the market updates, and then the idea is to follow up on all of these setups throughout the week and throughout the day to see how they develop. So I did do a lot of video updates, but now I'm doing more chart updates like text and charts, and I mark out the levels and I do more detailed analysis on the chart. And then if there's any specific educational content I want to share, I will record videos on that. So I'm thinking I'm going to go through the most interesting pairs that I'm watching in the forex market right now and in Bitcoin. And after this, I'm going to talk about how I created my trading system. So how did I start? Like, what happened from the very moment when I decided that I want to become a trader? What did I do, and how did the system look like when I first started, and how did I develop that system, and what tools did I use, and what process did I use? I think that will be a very educational process for you guys to watch and hopefully try to replicate, because I really do want to emphasize that everything I do here in these live streams, it's really to help you. So I want you guys to focus on what I'm telling you and what I'm showing you here in the charts, because I want you guys to understand that the wheel has already been invented in crypto. You don't have to invent anything new or do anything completely unique in trading. So you're supposed to copy other people, other traders, but you're supposed to only take the things that you think make sense, and the thing that the things that make sense to you as a trader. That's the things you should pick from each trader that you like, and then kind of combine it all into your own trading system. That's exactly how I did it. I'm going to show you and talk exactly about how all of that happened. Right now, I want to talk about two things, though. That is two alerts that I just got on. First, we're going to look at GBP, JPY, because it's kind of like breaking out here. So we marked out this level in the morning. There's obviously a significant daily level right here, as you can see. And, sometimes when you're adding levels on the candlestick chart, it's a bit messy. Like, I know a lot of people have, at least in the beginning, more problems seeing the levels clearly using a candlestick chart. But in Trading View, you can just go and select the line chart right here, and it just fits very, very, like, it shows very nicely here. It's just easier to see the levels without all the wicks. So yeah, GBP, JPY is about to break this level, and it's very simple. I'm just looking for a break and retest. Like, my system is very, very simple. I'm just looking for a break and retest of a horizontal level. This is a horizontal level. It's the same in crypto. It's the same for Bitcoin, for altcoins, and Forex, and anything else that I'm trading, but I'm only really trading crypto and Forex, but it's just the same. It's a break and retest of a horizontal level in the trending market, and then I have certain indicators on the chart to alert me on which of the levels and which of the breakout levels are the most interesting ones. And for that, of course, I have the RLZ slingshot indicator, where I have taken all my indicators that I use for the RLZ method, put it into one indicator, and now that's all I have. I have, if you've been following me for a while, a couple of months ago, I had probably like a 6 or 7 indicators on the chart. Now it's all inside this indicator. Speaking of the RLZ slingshot indicator, it's going to get released in less than a week, on April the 10th. Next Monday, the indicator is going to get released, and it's going to get released through the newsletter. So you have to sign up to the newsletter if you want to gain access to this, because it's going to get released in batches. I don't want everyone to have this indicator, because I think this indicator is quite unique and a super good indicator to use as a market scanning tool. It's not an indicator where you're just going to buy blindly all the signals, but it's a really good indicator to alert you when my system might give you an entry trigger. And you can just set up the alerts and let that run in the background, just like I have, and then you don't really have to do any market scanning. But I believe only 100 persons or 100 people is ever going to be able to gain access to this indicator, and I'm going to release it in small batches each time to newsletter subscribers. So make sure you are subscribed to the newsletter. You can find the link in the description below, or just go to rlztrading.com/newsletter. Right. Next alert is on AUD CAD. Now this is a bit what's going on here? Is this even a trade? AUD CAD? No, that's not a trade. But what I do like is NCD CAD. And see, like, these are the short signals. These are the alerts on the indicators. I'm just going through all of these alerts, right? I'm just going through all the alerts. And if I see something interesting, I might take a trade. Now, this is interesting. NCD CAD is very interesting. And let me kind of break down this idea, what it's actually based on. So we have a downtrend here. We have lower highs and lower lows. Very obvious. And this is very important when it comes to my trading system. I like to sometimes, when I want to get a clear picture of what I'm watching, I remove everything. So TradingView have this nice tool right here down, which is an eye, and you can select also here if you want to hide the drawings, the indicators, positions and orders, or everything. And I like to just hide everything to get to have price just front, right, and center, and see the market structure very clearly. And obviously what you can see here is a downtrend. And if you look at this locally, yeah, it looks pretty good, right? It looks pretty good. Now, what I'm worried about is this level, like these candles right here and here. You can see how there's obviously a support area here. There's a support, yeah, price is coming up and rejecting this level. Market structure is bearish. That's a like a bearish rejection around the top-ish type of pattern. But what I saw is when I add everything back on and I go back to the daily, here's the problem I'm having with this. If I add a line right here, it seems to me like there's a pretty good support area. If we connect these two candles and we extend it here, you see that it's a pretty decent daily level that's been in play from January. So definitely makes sense to be cautious here, because like you don't want to short support. Obviously, you don't want to short support. You can also see that there's like a huge daily wick right here, and then the candle close. So that's a big fake out. On the 4-hour, this is actually that wick on a daily. So on the 4-hour, it's like a rounded retest, a beautiful rounded retest. But then on the daily, you see that perfect fake out. And this is actually a good example of where you might have really good confirmation on the 4-hour, but then that daily candle closes and it's obviously a fake out. You got to be careful with those levels. So you see here that it's a very strong daily level. You go into the 4-hour, I'm very hesitant in taking this trade. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to wait. I'm going to set an alert right here. That alert is below the daily level, below that wick. And what I'm looking for is actually this. I want to see this level break. I then want price to come up and show me a rejection at that level. That needs to happen in the next 4, 5, 6, 7, the next 8 hours. That have to happen. If it doesn't happen within the next 8 hours, this trade is invalidated. Now, I know one member of the trading room is taking this trade. We have right here that Washpash, not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he market sold NCD CAD. Now that's all good for him. He passed, like he this is one of my program students who have passed the, he's now funded by the 55ers. It's absolutely mind-blowing to think that he went my trading program. We're a little bit more than halfway through the program. He applied the knowledge that he learned from the program with especially with the reload zone, and got funded. Absolutely amazing. So he's taking a short on NCD CAD, and I can't really argue with that. I think it's a good trade. I think it's a pretty good trade because the trade is invalidated here on the 4 hour. We have that bearish engulfing candle after the rejection inside the reload zone, and the idea here is also to get in on a retest of the 50% fib, which in this case is also confluent with the weekly and of course also the monthly open, which is just very good confluence. So I don't think there's anything wrong with taking this trade based on the system. However, I'm a little bit hesitant, and also it's because last month was just a bad trading month. Not that the results were terrible, it's just that I just felt completely unbalanced. So because of that, I need to make sure that the trades I take is 100% in line. Like I like the trade. I need to just like the trade because it's much it's much harder to accept the loss if you did have somewhat of a reason not to enter that trade. So if I enter this trade, for example, and it's a loss, I'm going to say, God damn it, why did I enter that one? This was a support area. I shouldn't have entered that one. But now, so I'm just going to wait. Now, one option, of course, is to see this. And you see here on the 1 hour, you see that the 1 hour candle also had some trouble getting below this level. So it's very clear here that this level is still a support area. And honestly, if you look at the trend here, you have a low, a higher low, and that's actually still a higher low. So the market structure is not completely broken. However, if we see something like this, we now have a higher high, and breaking below these lows create a break in market structure. So that's the uptrend, and that would then be the break of the uptrend. And that's the confirmation I'm looking for. I'm ready to make less money on this trade if I can get better confirmation. So the trade might look something like this, maybe tightening the stop loss a little bit. Average R on this trade would probably be around 2, which is definitely acceptable. The risk to reward to TP1 is going to be 1.12, so that's okay. I'm just going to wait for this to play out. So I'm playing around a lot with my alerts. The alert system in TradingView is fantastic, and it's really, really good tool to have. Put alerts on all the levels where you think you're interested in taking the trade. When the trade is invalidated or when the trade idea is confirmed, you want alerts on those levels to alert you. Like, pay attention. It's time to pay attention, right? So those alerts are a great way to do that. So that's the one trade I'm looking to enter, NCD CAD, which I'm probably going to enter later today if it gives me the opportunity to do so. Euro USD is also at a level where I'm looking for a break and retest. Very simple, horizontal resistance, looking for that break and retest. And then we have GBP USD is now breaking out, very beautiful. It's now breaking above that level. We are looking for a pullback on this move to go long on the retest of the breakout level, which will also probably be confluent with like the 50% fib. So I'm looking for a move up to this level. And then we have GBP CHF also breaking out, looking for a retrace and a longer retest of the breakout level. USD CHF, I'm looking for a break lower and then a short on the retest of the breakdown level. And NCD JPY hitting a very significant resistance area right here. Same thing, wait for resistance to break to the upside, go long in the retest of the breakout level. And EuroCAD is a bit different here. We are looking for a bullish break of market structure on the 4 hour. So here you see a downtrend on the 4 hour coming down inside the reload zone. And I want to see a break of structure here, a higher low, and I might be going long in the higher low and a bounce of the 50% fib. You can see here on the daily that the bullish trend is very much alive. You're getting a bounce inside the reload zone. Even though this is not looking remotely as interesting as the other setups, this has potential to become a good setup with some more bullish local price action. CAD JPY, what am I seeing? CAD JPY. CAD JPY is breaking out here, and we are obviously this white line right here, this white resistance area right here, strong resistance, high time frame resistance. But if you look at the 4 hour, we might have an opportunity to go long If there's a rejection here and they bounce here, we might actually go long on this if this level can be used as TP1. So if you add the fibs here from that low to that resistance area, you see that the 50% level here comes in absolutely perfectly on that breakout level, and that's what we want to see. We have a few more forex pairs to look at, and after that we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin, and then as promised I will show you how I develop my trading system. If you do like these live stream, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. I will also start a new live stream session on a regular basis every Friday called Market Mastery, where I will go through all my trades that I've taken throughout the week, all my analysis throughout the week, all the trades I've taken. I will go through my journal. I will look at all my journal notes with you guys, and I will go through the process of using your journal as a tool to develop as a trader on a weekly basis. That will be super important. I highly recommend checking that one out. It's going to be this Friday, same time as this one. USD CAD, and of course if you subscribe and you're hitting that bell notification button, you will of course get notified whenever I do go live. USD CAD, very simple, just looking for a pullback, and I will short somewhere. 80 USD looks like a fake out at this point, but I do want to see a bounce somewhere here and breakout, and that would most likely start a high time frame bullish break in market structure and a new uptrend, and that's the uptrend I want to be able to catch. And we have a possibility here to catch this trend quite early. GBP, JPY breaking out, and I'm looking for a break and retest of that level. So a lot of movements in the market now, looking very, very good. It looks fairly bullish for risk assets. If you look at the US dollar index, the DXY, the dollar currency index right here, you see that it's fairly bearish. We are in a overall downtrend and a local downtrend as well, and we are now breaking below local support as well. And this brings me to Bitcoin. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. It should be moving slightly higher. Yeah, I mean, and also I've been seeing a lot of stuff on Twitter with, you know, yesterday with Kobe, is it Kobe? Yeah, Kobe. So he posted that key and started spreading a rumor about Binance being red listed or whatever on Interpol to get arrested. And I didn't watch the chart, and I see a lot of people talk about it, and they're like, oh, holy shit, he's manipulating the market, and this Wolf guy lost like $100,000 and he had fucking heart attack or something. And I'm like, well, that sucks. Bitcoin must be at 10,000 or something. And I'm watching the chart, and I'm like, what happened? Like, what are they talking about? Where's the move? Are we even looking at the same chart? And this guy, like, I lost $100,000 on that move. I'm like, holy shit, that must be a massive move. How fucking over leveraged must you be to lose that kind of money on a move like that? It hit it, like, you know, there's nothing going on here. We're just in the range. We're just in the range. There's nothing going on here. It's just crazy. All right, so yeah, Bitcoin is in a local range, with the range highs being that resistance area at 29,000. I have my alerts above the range high. I have my alerts below the range low. There's nothing to see here at this point. It's nicely finding some type of support here at the range EQ area, but you know, I'm waiting for this. And if we do get that, like, remember, I'm still spot long Bitcoin. I've been accumulating Bitcoin ever since we broke below 20k. So I'm comfortable with an average entry of around 21,000. So I'm very comfortable with that. I'm not going to be adding any more here. However, I am looking for a trade on Bitcoin, and that would be the trade between 29k up to the 35k area. So that might be something like this, right? A break and a retest of the range highs, and then I would probably put some fibs on, and that would be the trade, something like that. I would just trade Bitcoin like I'm trading everything else. But it's crazy to see how people go weird over small moves within a local range at resistance. Gotta be careful out there, guys. Don't get over leveraged and use the risk way too much than what you're comfortable with doing. All right, let's let's take a look at the idea of developing a system. I think this is very important. It's going to be a very important discussion. So when I first started out, so let's do a little storytelling here. When I first started out, so I remember I had a coworker introduce me to well, actually, let me tell you a really fun story here. I don't know if it's fun, but in 2010 or 2011, I can't remember exactly when, but I think it was around 2010 or 11. There's this I remember there's this online marketplace where you could buy and sell stuff. Everything on that marketplace was not legal, and at the time I was fairly young, and I wanted to play around with it, and I bought some stuff and I sold some stuff, and everything was done with Bitcoin. And I started like accumulating some Bitcoin at that point on that marketplace, and I remember reading about how you can mine it, right? So I started reading about Bitcoin. I'm like, holy shit, it's pretty interesting stuff, right? And I started mining it, right? And I think I accumulated several hundreds of Bitcoin, maybe more, like in pretty good amount. I remember like you can mine like 5 or 10 Bitcoins every day. So I started accumulating quite a lot of Bitcoin back then. And obviously, like they were worth like at the time, maybe that stack of Bitcoin was worth like $80 or $100 or something like that. But yeah, it was probably like a couple of hundreds of Bitcoins, right? And I didn't think a lot about it, right? And back then I was not really very responsible with my life, to say the least. So I remember I was hanging out with a couple of friends, and we're smoking, and so we're gonna roll a blunt, right? And we're gonna roll this filter, and I was out of these papers where you used to roll filter, and I told them like, because I had this wallet, this Bitcoin wallet where I mined everything. So I mined everything, and I had this Bitcoin wallet, and I decided that maybe it's a good idea to kind of print out a paper wallet, right? Because what if I lose the hard drive? I mean, it's still $100. I think, yeah. So what am I 100? I think it's $100 or $200. I mean, still something, right? So I gotta save that. So I printed out a paper wallet, and then several months later, I'm like, I need some paper to roll like filter. So I found this paper wallet, and I thought like, whatever. Like, who gives a shit about this worthless piece of paper? And Bitcoin back then, nobody really cared about Bitcoin. So I started rolling filter with that paper. And a couple of months later, I think we basically smoked that paper wallet. And I remember that computer got lost. So that paper wallet was the only thing I had. And I can't remember if all of that wallet is gone, or if there's like some parts of it somewhere. So anyway, fast forward like probably 7 years, and I completely new life. I got sober. I moved to another town. I started a new work, and I remember sitting talking with my coworker, and he said like, do you know about Bitcoin? I'm like, yeah, I think I do, and I kind of started remembering, yeah, I know about Bitcoin. And he's like, yeah, I bought Bitcoin, and it's like it went up, like it doubled, right? So he bought at 2,000 USD, and then when he showed me, it was at 5,000 USD, and I'm like, I almost doubled my profits. I'm like, holy shit, 5,000, what the fuck, And I went back and I looked at the price from 2010, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And I remember like I got flashbacks of having like hundreds of Bitcoin, like mining. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, how much is this worth? Like, how much would that be worth? And I'm doing the calculations of like be millions and millions of dollars. And I kind of panicked, right? So I remember that day I went home from work early to go home. I went through everything, like every piece of paper, every box I had, everything, because I was looking for that paper wallet. And I went through every email, everything. I went through all the hard drives and everything, and I'm like, it can't be gone, right? I'm supposed to be a multi-millionaire, maybe even a billionaire. I'm supposed to be rich. And yeah, so a lot of sleepless nights. So basically what I did was, it's probably one of my most expensive, or definitely one of my the most expensive blunts in my life. I basically smoked up millions of dollars. And at that point, I kind of got really interested in crypto and Bitcoin for some weird reason, you know. So I invested in Bitcoin, and I quickly got interested in altcoins, because, like, remember when I mined Bitcoin, there was like no altcoins, nothing like that, just Bitcoin, right? And then when my coworkers showed me like Bittrex, there was a lot of altcoins on there, like Ethereum. I had no idea what Ethereum was, and all of these altcoins. I bought Bitcoin, and I think I bought it in a time when it went up 30% 2 days later. I'm like, wow, this is easy. So I went on Bittrex, and I had a strategy in the beginning. Everything that went up, like everything that just went up, everything that flashed green on Bittrex, I just bought that, right? And I made a lot of money buying that. So every time something went up like 20%, I just went all in on that, and it went up like 200% 2 days later. Like, that was the crazy time of 2017 altcoin bull market. That was insane. Like, stuff just absolutely skyrocketed, and you could just invest in everything. And then along comes the top, where I'm up quite a lot, and we reach the top, and Bitcoin top out, and it starts crashing. And I'm like, we're in that hodl mentality. We're like, are we just gonna hodl? We're gonna hodl for 250 years, and we're gonna be millionaires in our couple of generations or some shit like that. And so we hodled, and all the way down. So I lost pretty much everything. I made a lot of money in the altcoin run, only to see all of that unrealized profit just become vapor, basically. And at that point, I remember thinking that there's people doing this. There's people doing this for a living, right? There's people actually have made careers on being traders. So it's possible. It's possible that what I experienced, it's possible for me to do that once again. And it should be possible for me, by using technical analysis, to be able to time the tops. So I got completely obsessed with the idea of learning TA and being able to time the top of the next cycle. So what I did was, I went on Twitter, and I started following everyone that I thought were good traders, like just the bigger accounts. I followed everyone that had a big follower, a big following. Now, I quickly realized that, well, not quickly, but today I realized that most of the people I followed back in 2017 and 18 were not even traders. I mean, a lot of them are not around on Twitter anymore. They were not even traders. They were just pump and dumpers, right? They were just marketers. So you would follow someone who would like post a chart of a product, and then, it's just 2 days later it pumps, and then a couple of days later it's just completely done. So lost a lot of money following people on Twitter as well. And I kind of realized that, what, I have to get serious. I have to look at people that actually trade for a living. I need to look at people that actually know what they're doing, like real professionals. And I started looking at people that did like post good setups with good explanations and stuff like that. And I remember joining a trading community in 2017, and that's really where all changed, because that trading community was focused on crypto. And I think they had like 4 or 5, this is not the birdnest, by the way, and they had like 4 or 5 technical analysts, and they were trading, and they were active, and they were updating charts every time. And I learned a lot from that. And the first thing I learned was that I wanted to be a trend following trader. I had no idea. Like, I knew that you could be trading ranges, like you see here on Bitcoin, right? So you could be trading these ranges and just sell resistance and buy support and then play around with the range EQ, or you could be looking for trends and you could be trading the trends. And I quickly understood that I want to be a trend following trader. That made sense to me. That's something I just felt that made perfect sense. So I started looking at how do you trade trends. And I went to Google and I Googled how do you trade trends. And I went on YouTube and I searched for the best trend following strategy. And what I saw was that the people that seemed serious and the people that seemed to know what they were talking about, they talked about the fact that you should focus on price action and market structure and horizontal levels. Three things, well, basically only two things: market structure and horizontal levels. Everyone that kind of knew what they were talking about told me that horizontal levels, horizontal support and resistance, horizontal supply and demand, and the market structure is going to be your most important thing to focus on. So that's what I did. So I now knew that I wanted to learn how to draw levels, like horizontal levels. It took me a couple of weeks, and I went and looked at free courses and talked to a lot of the analysts in that community I was in as well, and I learned how to find good horizontal levels on the chart. And I knew that I wanted to create a system. Like, I wanted to create a system so bad, because that was such a cool thing to be able to single-handedly create the trading system and then just trade your own creation and just make a living doing that. Just an amazingly insane thing to do. And I love the idea of having that as my goal. And I love the journey, because it was so hard, so frustrating creating a system, because I tested a lot of things, and most of the things I tested did not work. So it was very, very frustrating not getting to where I wanted, but the journey was very exciting. So before I kind of show you how I did it, I think it's very important to remember that if you're not 100% committed to becoming a trader, you can just quit right away. If you don't know that you're resilient enough to get beaten down multiple times and you're sure that you're going to get back up anyway, whatever happens, if you don't have that level of resilience, if you don't know that you can make it through the hard times, it's no use even trying, because that is the single most important thing that separates the regular retail traders to the best traders out there, the ones that actually become profitable. Is that professional traders, they've been resilient enough to be able to stand up after getting beaten down multiple times until they actually have something that works. So I knew that I wanted to be a trend following trader. I learned to put the horizontal levels on the chart, and I knew that I wanted to trade trends like this. So I had two options. Do I want to become a breakout trader that buys the breakout, or do I want to become a break and retest trader that trades the retest? So I saw that in this community that I was a member of, the traders that I liked the most, they bought the retest. But that didn't really make a lot of sense to me. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me to wait for, you have the breakout. Like, this is where you're supposed to be buying. You're supposed to be buying when price goes up, right? You're supposed to be making money and price goes up. And it didn't really make a lot of sense to me to enter after price has already broken out. So it took me a long time to accept the fact that I have to wait for a breakout, because it did make sense to me after a while to wait for this retest. I knew that I wanted to test a system based on the break and retest of a horizontal level. What I did was, back then I used a backtesting template, not the one I have now, but it's one that I've optimized to become the one that I use today. So if you're not familiar with the backtesting template, you can sign up to the newsletter and you will get the backtesting template right into your inbox. So this is the backtesting template. You can easily just put in the results of your testing in R here, and you can test different analysis here and test them versus each other to see which ones work best. So I basically just tested a very simple strategy, which was the break and retest of a horizontal level in a trending market like this. So you have a horizontal level right here, and I tested that whenever there's a breakout, and it needs to be a clean breakout, so it needs to be like a thrust candle that goes through the whole level, and there needs to be a rounded retest, because I saw a lot of educational content on YouTube and they all talked about how there needs to be a clean breakout, it needs to be a clean rounded retest, and it's supposed to always be the first retest of the horizontal level. So that's what I did, and I started testing this. So when there's a breakout, I added limit buy orders on anticipating the retest of that level, and then stop loss slightly below the level, and then TP would be up here, and I would only take the trade if the risk of return of the trade would be 2. So if there's 2R up to the first trouble area, which is the last local high, I will take that trade. And I was getting pretty good results with that, like pretty good results, very simple. But I wanted to develop this because I thought that the win rate of like 40% was a bit low, sometimes like closer to 30, but that was way better than a lot of other stuff I was testing. A lot of other stuff was just giving me not profitable at all. So this was interesting because this was actually profitable. Even with 30 or 35 or 40% win rate, it was actually profitable. Like maybe around break even, slightly higher, but still I knew that this was a basis to build on because it's slightly more profitable than everything else I've tested. So I started researching more about different indicators and different trading systems, and I went on YouTube and I looked at everything I could find, and I studied all the analysts in the trading community to see like which indicators are they using any indicators which that I understand and can add to the system. And one of the first indicators that I really added was using the Fibonacci tool. So with the Fibonacci tool, I learned to, of course, I studied how to apply this Fibonacci tool. It took me a couple of weeks maybe to get a good understanding of what to really do with the Fibonacci tool. And then I found out about the RLZ, the reload zone. That's this area right here, which not that one. It's the wrong key. So found out about the reload zone, which is the area between the 0.786 and the 0.618. And I added this to the system. So remember, I'm testing a lot of different things. And this, I found that when this retest, when the breakout area is somewhere inside the reload zone, it increased the win rate of the system significantly. So I think I went from like 35% win rate up to 50. Like that was a insane moment because I realized that holy shit, like I increased the win rate 20% or even more just by having the Fib tool on and taking the trades which is complement with the reload zone. So I knew that, all right, this is the future of my trading system. This is how I'm going to trade it. And I then started working on stop loss placement. So the first thing I did was just have stop loss below here and TP here. But with having stop loss below the reload zone, I noticed that the risk to reward to TP1 was too low. So I had to, and I also noticed that a lot of trades just continue higher. And I realized that I want to be riding the trend, not just entering in the trend and then exiting right before it continues. So I said that, all right, stop loss is going to be below the reload zone, but I'm going to exit 50% here. And then I added the extension reload zone up here, and I said 50% is the first trouble area, and then 50% at the minus 0.618 up here. So that's now a stop loss strategy based on technicals and a TP strategy based on technicals. So I know now I start to have a system. And this was working quite well as a swing trading system, but some periods were just not giving me a lot of setups. Before using the Fib tool, many more setups, but then when I added another variable to the system, I was getting much fewer setups, and I wanted to trade more often. So I started working on this is a great question, by the way, and this is a question I'm going to be answering in just a moment. A very good question. So what I did was I started thinking about scalping. So maybe I can develop, I had this swing trading system, and maybe I can develop a scalping system on the side to start scalping with. So what I did was very simple. I went to my trading community and I said, do anyone have a scalping system that they might want to share the details of? And I went through, like, they talked about their scalping system. I'm like, I don't understand anything of this. This makes no sense whatsoever. And I thought, I need to find something that makes sense. And I found someone on YouTube, some small YouTuber had this video and was like, look at this scalping system. I'm like, wow, that makes sense. It just clicked. And what he did was he had 2 EMAs, okay? So it was a trend following scalping system. And he had 3 EMAs, right? So he had the 8, the 12, and the 21. So we had the 8, the 12, and the 21 EMA. And he used this as kind of like a dynamic horizontal support and resistance. And he wanted the price to come down into this area. And in this area, he wanted to have a bullish engulfing candle. You might remember this from my trading system. I talk a lot about bullish engulfing candle. Yeah, that's from that system, that YouTube video. I can't even remember which YouTube video. It had like 10 views or something like that. I'm like, that makes sense. And I started testing this on scalping, and the results were terrible. That system was like really, really bad. But it got me thinking. If maybe I can try this on my swing trading system. So I added an indicator because I remember I watched like Crown, I think it was Crown Crypto Cave, and he had this indicator where you can have like the 5 EMAs and 5 SMAs. So I added these on, and I just added every EMA like this. I just added every EMA, and you're gonna see up here. You can go to Euro NCD, by the way, it's better trends on Euro NCD. So yeah, I just added this indicator on, and we had all the EMAs on here. So we had the 21, the 50, the 55, the 89, the 200, and the 377. And I tested all of them. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to test the confidence between the EMAs and the break and retest horizontal level and the fib tool. And I found out that the 20 EMA had the best win rate. Whenever price hit the 20 EMA with everything else in confidence, it had the best hit rate. And I also found that next up is the 50. The 50 also had a good one, and then the 100. But below, like the slower than 100, didn't really fit with the system, because if it comes down and hits another EMA, and the 100 is probably one of those as well. If it comes down and hits the 100, the retrace is too far down, so it's going to be below the reload, so most likely. So I removed all the indicators, and now I have the 20 and the 50. And look at this. If you remove that one, so 20 and 50, that's inside the RLZ slingshot indicator. So I added that to the system because I saw that it increased the win rate of the system, and more importantly, it increased the the risk to reward obviously was the same, but the win rate was slightly higher. So now I know that, all right, that's something I'm gonna keep. And then I further developed the system, and I started thinking that, because a lot of people were talking about like trade with the trend, right? Trade with the trend. The trend is your friend. That's the mantra. Everyone was just going, everyone was just saying that. But I thought, which trend? Price action and fractal. Which trend? Am I supposed to be trading with the monthly trend or the 1 minute trend? Like what trend am I supposed to be trading with? Am I supposed to be trading with the 4-hour trend just because I'm on the 4-hour? And I remember hearing a lot of people and watching a lot of interviews and talking to a lot of professional traders that it's all about following the high time frame trend. So for me, the high time frame trade was the daily. So I wanted to be able to see the high time frame trend without switching to the high time frame trend all the time. And I decided that I want to test which of the EMAs on the daily is a good indication of trend. And I've found that the 20 and the 50 EMA is very good indication of what the daily trend is doing. So whenever the 20 EMA is above the 50 and price is above them both, you're in a daily uptrend. And whenever the same thing happens to the downside, you're in a downtrend. So I remember adding the daily EMAs, which you can see right here as dotted lines. And I tested the idea of only going long when there's an entry trigger of the system if price is above the daily moving averages, and that also increased the win rate of the system. In backtesting, I'm now at like 60, like 55 or 60% win rate in backtesting. And at that point, I had a working system. I traded with that system profitably. And then I remember watching like some live stream on YouTube with another trader, and they're like, they're showing how they use the RSI, and then another trader showed how they're using the stochastics RSI in scalping. And that's also something I did when I tried to develop the scalping system. I wanted to get a indicator that kind of confirms the entries, and I've seen that the stochastics RSI was just a beautiful indicator to use as confidence. And I added that, and I tested that, added it to the system and tested it for a very long time. And I've seen that it gives me fewer setups, much fewer setups, but the win rate on the setups that I do find is higher. And now in backtesting, I'm around 65 to 70%. Now that might sound very impressive, but you're like in backtesting, when you're testing live, you probably have to like take off 10 or 15%. So with my live trading, I'm between 50 and 60% win rate, but in backtesting, I'm around 70, if some pairs even 80. But that's obviously not the real results, because that brings me to this question right here. Because when backtesting, you don't have your emotions involved. Anyway, this whole process of adding things to the system one by one and then individually testing this thing one by one, it took me a very long time. I started this process in the beginning of 2018, and I probably had the system I'm trading today. I have not optimized this system since probably somewhere between 2020, maybe 2021. So it probably took me 3 years. It took me 3 years only to develop a system. And the reason for that is, and that's a long time, 3 years to develop a system, that's a long time. But the reason for that, and the system did not become profitable after 3 years. It was actually profitable after like a year, but much more profitable after 3 years. But what I'm saying is, you need a lot of time, because you need to backtest everything on a lot of data. Manually backtest everything on a lot of data, and then you have to forward test it. You actually have to trade the system live and test things live, and then if you're going to be adding more stuff, you need to do more backtesting and then more forward testing. So it takes a very long time to create a profitable system, but it's very much worth it. So that's the development of the system, and that's the process I believe that you should be doing as well. And now it's even more simpler when you have a backtesting template like this one, where you can just have these different tabs on all the different pairs, and you can track different indicators at the same time using this backtesting template. So I highly recommend you check it out. You can sign up to the newsletter, and it will get sent directly to your inbox. So this question right here, okay. How long did it take to get your mental game strong in trading? I believe that it, man, like it's still a struggle. All right. So the mental struggle is always there. By the way, I just have to watch my open trades here. Got Euro JPY. Wow, did it hit TP1? Nah, not really. Shit, that's close. That is very close. Man. Whatever. So, well, let's look at this account, if it actually hit TP. I just have to check that. No, it did not hit TP. Still. I get an alert on NCD CAD as well. Possible entry. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. You gotta wait. We talked about this in the beginning of the live stream, right? And you gotta wait. You have to wait for confirmation. And right now, it's testing that 50. It's testing the monthly open. If we get a rejection here, and if you look at the 15-minute, that's a beautiful break and retest. So on the 15-minute, it's kind of like breaking structure. So what I'm watching here is a rejection here. So we're gonna be putting an alert here. We're gonna put an alert here and here. So the one above would most likely invalidate the trade, and the one above would most likely confirm the trade. So yeah, how long did it take to get strong mentally in this trading game? Well, it's an ever evolving process. I get stronger, but I never become. I would say I feel like I'm never going to become strong enough. You know, it's because some days I'm weak, very weak mentally. I wake up and I'm like, you know, last month was a good example of a month that really tested my patience. And I needed to be mentally strong to really go through that drawdown period of last month. And that was really, really hard, really frustrating. I started thinking about, scalping a lot, like I always do. It's sort of like my way of switching systems, right? All right, so the swing trading system is not working great this month. Let's create a scalping system. And that always ends bad. Always end bad. What I'm supposed to do is just stick with the system and is accept the fact that I'm going to have some drawdown periods. Like I had the best month in my trading career this January, and then in March I had one of my worst months in my trading career. Not really one of my worst month. I've only lost like 2.5%, but still, it's just not. It's a bad drawdown because that's the max drawdown that I ever had. I've never lost more than 2.5% of my trading capital, so that's a pretty massive drawdown for me. But yeah, it's really hard. What made all the change with the mental game is the book Trading in the Zone. Okay, so I talk about this book a lot. But this is a book you need to get. If you haven't read this book, you need to order this book right away. Okay, so you need to order this book right away. It's available you can get it on audiobook. I highly recommend the audiobook. It's on Audible. You can also find it on Spotify for free. You can probably Google on YouTube. And Mark Douglas has also done some presentations on YouTube. But this book here, and like you probably heard about this book, because if there's no professional trader out there who have not heard about this book, and if they are serious about trading and they have been in the game for a fairly long time, they are going to tell you to read this book. This is the trading Bible right here. I don't care what anyone else say about any other trading psychology book. This is the only book you need. You don't need a book on technical analysis. You don't need a book on anything else, a specific system. You need this book. And this is the only book you will ever need in trading, period. And if you follow the process that Mark Douglas talks about in Trading in the Zone, you will be profitable. Like I'm not joking. You will be profitable. You can have a fairly bad trading system, but the key here is having a good risk management, and more importantly, having a good mental edge. So let's talk about mental edge. What do I mean when I say mental edge? This is a mental edge. What I've just described here in the beginning when it comes to NCD CAD, in the very beginning of this live stream, I talked about how I want to feel good about the trades I'm taking. All right, I want to feel good about the trades I'm taking. Not that it's like of course I need specific technicals to line up, but it's not like I'm gonna get a signal of the system and I'm gonna take it regardless. It's not about that. If I'm getting a signal of the system, I have to ask myself, do I feel good about this? Am I mentally in the right state of mind? Because if I'm not, that means I'm not trading from the right mentality of a probabilistic mindset. I'm not trading from inside the zone. I can't tap into that flow state of mind while trading if I don't like the setup I'm trading. So the idea is most people say that you're not supposed to trade your emotions. I even have this poster here which says trade your plan. not your emotions. I would like to modify that, and you need to not, you shouldn't be treating your emotions instead of your plan, but you should be treating your plan, and integrated into that plan is several emotions that you have identified as potential warning signs. So for example, a very good sign that I should take a break from trading is stress. If I get stressed, I know that I shouldn't be trading, because that level of stress will influence my trading behavior. So what I have to do is I have to first identify the patterns that leads to stress, because when I'm stressful and I'm trading, it's too late. So I have to sit down with myself and I have to ask myself, what happens when you're stressed? Why are you stressed? And what's the things and the behavior that lead up to being stressed? So for me, I have certain things I do when I'm stressed. And I know that when I start doing that, I just need to take a break. I need to take a break, because as soon as I start getting stressed, I lose the ability to enter that flow state of mind. And it's inside that flow that I'm able to perform at my top capacity as a trader. So you have to view trading as any other high performance sport, be it tennis or golf or whatever. Now, I'm not a golfer, but I do suspect that the pro golfers, they've made a couple of swings. They've probably been out there, and they've probably, done the same moves and the same swings with the club hundreds and probably thousands of times. So whenever they step up and they're, in a game or whatever, they know exactly what to do. It's muscle memory. And it's the same thing in trading. But at the same time, you wouldn't have a top athlete not prepare for a game and not making sure that they're in their best state of mind, because they know that if they're not in their best state of mind, they're not going to perform to their fullest. And it's the same in trading. You have to understand, if your mental state of mind is going to be the reason for you to be successful or not. So you're gonna get that book. That's awesome, man. This is you're gonna have a good time reading it. Like, obviously, like, parts of this book is quite boring, but it all makes sense. And there's like 3 chapters in this book which is like super perfect, just golden. And but this is also a big struggle and a journey. I remember when I started trading in the beginning, I had my journal and I started taking notes on my journals. And I remember the times when I made notes like, why did I do this same mistake today that I did yesterday, and the day before that, and the day before that, and the week before that? Why am I making this stupid, retarded mistake again? I must be an idiot, right? We've all been there. And everyone goes through this. The ones that just push through that, and the ones that come out on the other side being profitable, are the ones that they reach a point of extreme frustration. A point where you sit down with your trading journal and you're just like, it's almost like you're disgusted with yourself. And it's like you don't even want to enter that trade into the journal, because you're just not happy with what you're doing at all. So you're telling yourself that it's either now or never. I have to make a change, and if I don't make this change, there's no point of me trying to be a trader. Because if you just keep repeating that same mistake over and over again, you're just an idiot, right? You just can't be doing the same mistakes over and over again. So you have to make a decision. You have to just make a decision, and just go with that decision, and just change your whole view of trading and how you're approaching it from a mental point of view. Everyone gets to that point at some point. And That's also why, I'm telling all my students that, yeah, I'm going to give you a system. I'm going to give you everything I do here. I want to set you up for success, but you have to do the work. You have to do the work, and you have to put in the time into trading, because you have to reach certain thresholds in trading, and this is one of those. When you reach that point of extreme frustration, where you just say, fuck it, I'm just gonna change, and I'm gonna change my whole approach to trading, and I'm gonna take this seriously, or I'm just gonna quit. And that was a point in my career, probably around I think 2019, when I've been trading. Like, I started in 2017, so 7, 18, like 19. Like, I've been doing this obsessively for 2 years. 2 years of my life, no money, no success, no nothing. Just me, just doing the same stupid shit over and over and over again. And I'm telling my partner, like, it's just wait, I'm gonna be a fucking millionaire soon, you just wait. And she's like, well, you're sitting there and you're just doing the same stuff over and over again. You've been doing that for 2 years now, and there's nothing happening. I'm like, well, you just wait, I'm gonna have that Lambo. And when you realize that you're just trying so hard, but nothing's happening, like, you're just hitting that wall over and over again, you're making the same mistakes, and there comes a point when you have to realize that you got to stop making those mistakes. And for me, what happened for me was, I took a break, and I told myself that, all right, so 100 trades. If I'm still making the stupid mistakes, I'm gonna take from today. I'm gonna take 100 trades, and if I'm still making the same stupid mistakes after those 100 trades, and I'm not even close to being profitable, I'm gonna quit trading. I'm just gonna I'm gonna quit trading. I'm just gonna walk away. I'm not gonna look back. And that was really the kind of like the motivation and the goal that I needed, because that's when everything changed. I started trading from a very balanced state of mind. I read the Trading in the Zone book. I remember, sitting down. I started with meditation. I started asking myself questions about my own emotions and my own feelings. That really, because that was the thing that screwed me over most, is I'm entering a trade and then I'm exiting that trade based on emotions, like fear. And then the trade works out perfectly based on technicals. So I started working out a mental system. How can I let these trades run? And I remember I started trading less. I started spending way less time on the chart. I entered the trade and then I put in alerts using TradingView, and then I went out for a run, or I went out for a walk, or if I was at so I was not full-time trading at that point, obviously. So what I did was, I might have entered a position in the morning and then I went to work. And one day I even left my phone at home. Um, and I did that a couple of times, because I had to learn that if I'm entering the trade, and if the plan is to have either TP or stop loss getting hit, I'm not supposed to exit this trade myself. I'm going to let my orders in the market exit that trade for me. But I had my phone, and I watched TradingView on my phone, and I could enter an exit position from my phone. So I decided that, when I leave the house, I'm not going to bring my phone. So I'm going to enter a position, and I'm not going to bring my phone with me. So I forced myself not to exit this position, and I saw the results actually become better. So that really showed me that, all right, so if I just let it go, if I just let it be, if I let the trade do whatever the trade wants to be or do, I'm going to have better results. And that helped me be more calm with not watching the markets and stuff like that. So when it comes to like mental challenges, it's very important also to have specific practical things that you might want to do in your everyday life to help it, to help yourself and make it easier for yourself to follow the mental rules. So meditate, work out. If you're stressed about a trade, don't trade. If you're stressed about a specific trade, and you find yourself watching TradingView on your phone all the time and wanting to exit and enter trades, just shut off that phone. Do something else. Just focus on anything else but trading when you're stressed about trading, and reward yourself for when you do good decisions. So I remember when I had when I had my first very good trading month, and when I was able to actually withdraw money and make money from trading, I remember like I always tried to reward myself. Like I took my fiance to a nice restaurant and stuff like that, and I started like buying small stuff for myself, nothing expensive, just things that rewarded myself for good trading behavior. That's also very important, because you have to condition yourself and you have to condition your mind into wanting to follow good trading behavior and good trading habits. So that's a really good thing to do as well. Reward yourself for good trading behavior, and just be very disciplined and calm and balanced and focused in the way you're approaching markets. All right, that's my little speech on trading psychology. So now you know a little bit about my history, how I started trading and how I got interested in trading, and how I kind of began with crypto, and also how I developed the system I'm developing today. And hopefully this was useful. Hopefully you'll get some tips and tricks on how you can improve your own trading. So I would like to thank everyone for joining today, and don't forget to sign up to the newsletter if you're not subscribed already. The RLZ slingshot indicator is going to get released on April the 10th. I'm really looking forward to getting all your feedback on that indicator once it's released. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next live stream, which will be on Friday, where we are going to dive into my trading journal, and we're going to be looking through all my notes from my trading journal, all the trades I've taken, and all the lessons learned from this week in trading. All right, thanks for watching again, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.